so I got a video they sent me, put it up on Blackboard as well, because my other classes won't see me in person. They have no idea what I look like when I'm doing this, also might help them out. So I don't know if I'll be doing this all the time. But, so we, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're supposed to be getting more students, but we'll get going. All right. Okay, I guess just the way we'll range it. You guys are doing pretty good with socially distancing and stuff like that. So I have this thing up here, and so I'll be taking my mask off right now and talking behind it. The plexiglass. If anybody has any concerns, let me know. And everybody okay with that so far? Okay. So let me just see who's here. Kelly?
Here.
Or Erica? Jennifer? Katie? Scout?
Yeah.
Okay. Cameron?
Here.
Arden?
Yeah.
Jacob?
Hi.
Jacob. Zachary? And Jeremy?
Yes, sir.
All right, see how that worked? Okay, so let's go to okay, so let's go to syllabus now, and what's so up here on the screen. I'm going to show you. This is Blackboard, and this is what you see. Okay, all right. So first thing you got to know is the syllabus. Okay, so the syllabus is. Click here, and when you go to the syllabus, it has part 1, part 2, and it may have a part 3, but it doesn't look like in this case. Don't worry about part 1. Okay, I will post a part 1, but really that's not for you guys. That's for the state and the school to know that we're teaching a list of things that we're supposed to teach. Okay. And then, what you want to do is do part 2. Now, hopefully all of you have tried to do that and download it. Is that fine? Okay. All right. So let's take a look. Okay. All right. So here's basic information. This is part 2. Blah blah blah. Okay. So here's 2 emails. I have my Edison account and I have a Gmail account that I use. Now, the reason I use 2 different accounts is the Edison account really doesn't have very much storage and it sort of gets bogged down with assignments and the like. And I know there's other ways that I can do it, but the simplest way that I figured to do is just create a Gmail where you guys can send me like your videos. If you guys were to do them, you don't have to do them because I see you guys in person. If there's assignments, you send me to the Gmail account. If there's concerns, some of you have sent me concerns about things, I know you did, and send it to my Edison account. All right. That way I can. I don't. It just gets me confused and everything gets mixed up. All right. Okay, as far as office hours, just let me know. For you guys, it's a little bit easier. I'll be here, try to be here at 8, either in my office, which is down in 108, or in here. I prefer being here because of the space, okay? I'll be here at 8, and I'll be here an hour after that. So I think you guys have to make arrangements for staying after with other people. Just let me know. typically, because of the, I'm sort of lumping you guys in with the online class as well, and that's why one of the reasons I'm videotape this, and they'll see this as well, is that usually if you have a concern, try to email me, and we'll try to deal with it that way. Okay. All right, so this class is 110, and it's an introductory to chemistry. What are you guys taking it for? What are you taking one time for?
I need it to get into the nursing program.
Nursing.
I'm going to the soil science and crop management.
Oh, okay. Cool. Nursing.
It's my science elective, my lab elective.
And what do you?
Liberal arts degree.
Anything particular yet?
I kind of am interested in history, so maybe that.
What kind of history?
All history, American history especially.
New American history, old American history?
Really all of it, from 1776 onward.
Nothing before 1770.
Yes, nothing before that. Nothing interesting.
Yeah, we didn't have a country, we didn't.
Didn't exist.
And if you talk to a lot of people, you'll see this if you get into it. A lot of people don't even know what that 1776 means.
Right.
So, how about you?
Early education.
What is it?
It's my science for early education.
Oh, really? Okay. Did I get you? Which?
For my science selective.
For, what are you planning on doing, you know? Not yet. You know what you're going to get into yet?
Not sure.
Not sure. What are you interested in? Everything? That's fine. Are you in high school still? No. How many of you are the college plus people?
Well, I was, and then I transferred over.
Yeah, I mean, when I got out of high school, I didn't know what I was doing. So when I was at Syll, high, okay. I give you background about me is that when I was in high school, I kind of thought I'd like math and science, but I really didn't know what was going on in the world. And I thought I was going to play guitar, I guess. And I didn't really know about that either. I worked in a factory in Detroit, Michigan, and I worked as on the line putting engines together. And and I worked in this engine plant, and I had a lot of jobs there. I worked like 5 or 6 years, but I just had about, except for actually making parts, and dyeing the parts and like that, I had just about any job that was in the factory I had done. And that was really a really cool experience because at the time I thought it was a low-life experience. But what had happened was if you work in a big factory like that, it's just like working in a hospital or wherever, is you got so many different people with so many different types of backgrounds. It's like giants. I mean, it's like a little city. And then there were people that were really into religion. There were people that were really into doing drugs. There were people that are all kind of doing and learning stuff. And you meet all these people and you talk to them, and it was like this big, and it was like the city, and you got to know all these people. And you got to learn, wow. You also got to sort of learn if you want to be there. And I did that till I was about 20. And I decided I wanted to go back to school, and I went to, I didn't have any confidence as a student. I mean, I went to a little school up in the north of Detroit, in Michigan, called Romeo. And it's a little farm like area like this, and I didn't know. I didn't have, I did okay in school. I didn't know what I was going to do. So when I was 20, I go, I'm going to try to do something. And so I just tried to go into electrical I was gonna repair TVs, okay? Now, let me tell you about repairing TVs in 1980. All right, they were these giant things, this big, this wide, and this deep, okay? And they had, all the working components in it were tubes, okay? And they look like, they look like little light bulbs. And the TV was filled with that. And so I went to the school called RETS, Rex, and to learn how to fix TVs. Now this is 1980. Now you might know.
Oh, yeah.
But
Definitely lies.
this is that so they taught you how to do all this stuff. But at that time, those TVs were being antiquated. That means solid state was coming in, no more tubes. So, but they were teaching us how to do tubes. So I was coming into the school, and I didn't have a career at all. Nothing was there for me after I left, because they were teaching me old stuff. They hadn't quite transitioned over. And so I go, okay, this is interesting stuff, but I'm not gonna get a job. And but as I started doing that class, those classes, I realized that I liked science, and I liked math, and I like physics, and I liked how things work. And so what I did is I go, well, I think I actually, so this is like if you went to Edison and got, a certificate in something. I was going to get a certificate in electrical technology, I think it's called, electronic technology. While my last semester there, I go, oh, I want to learn about, I want to do more with this. I want to know actually why this stuff works. And so I decided to go into electrical engineering. Then I went took a year of electrical engineering at this college again up in Michigan, Lawrence Institute of Technology. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Back to the Future and the DeLorean. Okay, the guy that made the DeLorean went to that college, John DeLorean. But I went there for a year, and I went there, I go, I started taking classes, I go, I want to know why electricity works. So I decided to change my major to physics, which tells me how things work. And then I moved to another college. It was another place in Detroit, Oakland University, and then I went there for physics, and went there for 2 semesters, and I had to take a biology course. And biology was cool because I liked life. Life is really interesting, and it's just the dynamic and how it happens. And it's fascinating. But it was part of my curriculum as well. And there was a billboard, and it had a request for a fellowship to work a summer fellowship at this college right here, Wayne State University, which is right down in Detroit. And I go, I'll do that, and I'll see if I can get into that. And I applied for it, and it was to work at a biochemistry, for this department of biochemistry at the medical school. And I didn't have any background at all in biochemistry, and I didn't have a single lab in biology, and I just decided to apply for it. Just hope, what the hell. And I get a call from this guy. He goes, "You want to come down and want this fellowship?" I go, "Sure." And so I go there, and I work there during the summer, and I go, I kind of like this stuff. And because there's physics involved with it, there's biology, both those things I really were interested in, biology and physics. And I go, and I'm also learning chemistry, which I wasn't really, I wasn't all that interested in it. I thought chemistry was kind of, ugh. I go, it's boring. I like physics because it tells me how things work. And I like biology because, wow, you know, I see all that stuff out there. And then I started working there, and the guy said, why don't you just come to Wayne State University and finish up your degree? And I go, okay. And then what you can do after you're done with your degree, your bachelor's, why don't you stay here and try to get your PhD? Okay. I have nothing else to do. And so I decided to stay there and work in the lab. And I really didn't have a lot of, I didn't have a whole lot of chemistry background, and I really didn't know what I was going to do, but he encouraged me to stick it out. And what I ended up doing is I ended up, and I'll show you, not now, but I'll show you down the road, maybe, is that I started to develop and work on taking pictures of proteins and figuring out from their pictures how they worked. Now this is, I was at the forefront of this 40 years ago. I mean, the pictures, the original pictures that we took of proteins were really time intensive to take pictures of, and we really had to spend a lot of time and work to figure them out. The work that I did, and I ended up getting my PhD in, actually relates a lot to this, to the coronavirus, okay? Is because to figure out the vaccine for the coronavirus, they had to take a picture of the virus. And then when they took a picture of the virus, everybody's seen that. I mean, you've seen the spikes on it, okay? Those pictures were taken by the kind of stuff that I was doing. And then they know that the spikes are the things that attach to your body, to your cells, to say, make more virus, okay? So if we can take a picture and know what those guys look like, we can design through DNA technology and RNA technology things that will mimic the spike protein. So that work that I did 40 years ago is directly applicable to what they do now. In fact, the guy that came up with the picture of the coronavirus, he worked in the same lab that I did, okay, at Wayne State University. So that's really cool. I didn't know him directly, but he's a couple years younger, and he was there. Then after that, I continued my, when you get done with your PhD, what they usually do is say, well, you have to go do an internship, and it's called a postdoc. And the postdoc was, I went down to University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and I worked for this guy doing continuation of this protein structure stuff that I was working with. I was doing computer modeling of proteins. And not only modeling of them, but I was doing simulations of them. Now what that means is that you start out with a picture of this protein, and then what you do is you plug in its starting numbers, push an on button, and then you put it in a environment, and this is all computer simulated. And then you push the button and you see what happens to it. Okay, then from that, what it does is it gives you predictive behaviors on how that proteins work. And again, I was sort of at the forefront of that in the 90s, and they used that. There was a couple years ago, a guy won a Nobel Prize for computer simulations, and I knew the guy. Okay, so then while I was working at North Carolina, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this thing called the Peters principle, but it's called you go as far as you can, right? And then you can't go any higher because there's just a ceiling. Now, I mean, people go, well, you can always push a ceiling. Well, at some point you realize that you probably don't know if it's worth it. So I was working with these guys that were, like I said, Nobel Prize. I didn't work with Nobel Prize winners, but I worked with people that worked with them. I come into the lab and work, and these guys, I mean, they would have trouble walking into the room because their brains were so big. Right? They were smart, and I really liked that. But I realized is that I probably wouldn't go where I would like with this, and I thought, oh, let me get into teaching. And so I took some teaching courses down there, and I ended up getting my teaching degree, high school, teaching biology. But in North Carolina, if you get a teaching biology, you can teach chemistry and physics as well. And so I went, my first job that I got, they didn't have a biology position, but they had a chemistry position. So I go, oh, okay, I'll teach chemistry. I don't really like it, but it's chemistry. Okay. And so I taught it. And then, now, I was down in North Carolina. In North Carolina, I live in Chapel Hill, and Chapel Hill is a beautiful place. The problem with any place down south is that in the summertime they have another season that's not quite summer. It's like super summer, and everything's super hot and humid, and I didn't like that. Okay, I actually sometimes I like this weather better. This weather, I always can put stuff on. When you have that weather down there, you can only say take off so much stuff, right? And I kind of miss being back in Michigan. I'm a Michigan person. University of Michigan and everything. So so I did that. So I applied for high school jobs up in Michigan, and I got a job up in Ann Arbor teaching at a private school, college prep school. And one of the things that I also did that kind of got me the job also is that in my early 20s, I decided I was going to take up running and doing marathons and triathlons and things like that. And I got pretty serious about it. and I trained, and I did an Ironman, I did triathlons, and I didn't win any races, but I always was competitive. I did win a couple races, but I was always competitive, and I was real serious about it, and I like teaching, and so I like to coach, and so when I got this job at Ann Arbor, not only did I get a chemistry job, I got a job coaching cross country team. And I never coached cross country before, but I knew how to run and how to train for it. So I took that on, and I ended up being there for at this school. And this school actually, the average graduating class was 70 students. Out of those 70 students, they graduated. Almost half of them would end up at an Ivy League school or comparable. Now, University of Michigan, people in Ohio sometimes just don't think of it. It's a great school, but it's one of the best academic schools there is. Okay, so these students would use that school as their backup school, right? So they would get accepted to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Georgetown, and so teaching these students was as good as teaching college students. While I was teaching there, I started liking chemistry because I started teaching it. And the students would start asking me questions. Go, why is that? And I go, oh, good question. And pretty soon, it started to all make sense, and I go, wow, this is cool stuff. And I didn't want to teach biology anymore. I would. I mean, I could. I didn't want to teach physics. Chemistry just you know, go, oh, I get it, and in a word, every time for those first 10 years I taught chemistry, every time I come up on the board and write, I would learn something new that I hadn't thought about before. And while I was up there, students would be asking me questions, and I go, they wouldn't know it, but I go, and I would get it. So, so I worked there for 10 years, and then worked another 5 or 6 years up in Michigan at colleges. And then about 7 years ago, sort of circumstances got me to look for a job. And I ended up here at Edison, and I've been here 7 years and teaching these different courses. So, so that's my background, and it's there for everybody to see now. So it's. Does that apply to anything? I'm not sure. Yeah, but anyway, I think of you, like, what am I doing with my life? You don't know, okay? Well, neither did I. I didn't know until I was 25 or something like that. As long, if you have an opportunity to teach, you know, like some of you don't really think you have an opportunity. And you figure the only opportunity you might have is, oh, I'm going to become a nurse because that way I can support my family and stuff like that. That's great that you guys do that, and you have this opportunity to do it. But you know, I sort of went the other way. I kind of scratched and crawled my way to get where I am now. I didn't have to worry about a family. I got married quite late in my life, and I ended up I ended up doing graduate school until I was 30, 31, and doing postdoc until I was 34. I didn't have my real first job until I was 35 or something. So, all right. So, okay. So what you guys are going to be getting is the basics of chemistry. And this is typical. This is like a high school chemistry class. Now, going into nursing programs and your lab, if this fits into your requirements, that's fine. But if you were to plan on using this class to transfer this class to like a 4-year college, it probably won't work as a chemistry class. You'll probably have to take the next level, which is called General Chemistry 1 and General Chemistry 2. Now, nursing students and vet students and things like that, one of the reasons you're taking this course is to take the next level course for that program, which is Chem 111. Okay, so, and I haven't taught that in a year, but we have good teachers for that, hopefully. Nobody's. All right, so prerequisites. Hopefully we don't do a lot of math, so don't be afraid of it. When I first started teaching chemistry, I would have students come into my class and go, I love chemistry, I love chemistry. I go, why? Because we get to blow things up. I go, no. Well, we did, but that was probably not a very, I mean, it's kind of iffy, some things I did. At the end of the semester, the students come up to me, the same students that were all happy about it, go, I hate chemistry. And I go, why? And they go, because all you do is memorize stuff and do math. Oh boy, how am I going to deal with this? Okay, so over the years is that, I'll just let you know, is that I've tried to reduce the math component. I know it sounds algebra. It'd be nice if if I said 2x equals 6 and you could solve for x. It'd be great if you could do that, all right? I don't know if you can. So I'm not gonna ask you that question, but there will be So questions in the very end of the semester probably like that. Basically, what you need to do, hopefully, is know how to multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Okay, that's it. So if I say you have 2, if there's a bottle and the bottle weighs 4 pounds, and you had 5 bottles, how much would those 5 bottles weigh? So hopefully y'all can do that, right? Each bottle weighs 4, you have 5 of them, so only 20 pounds. That's that's it. Okay, that's the kind of thing. Now, so I don't want you. Now the memorization part, you'll see, it might bog you down, but it's just like any language that you learn. And this is a new language. You kind of got to learn new words and how to apply them. One of the things that I'm doing is my learning of life. Okay, is I've decided to try to learn some Ojibwe. Anybody know what Ojibwe is? Okay. Anybody ever heard of Chippewa? Ever heard of Chippewa? Okay, it's a Indian tribe. The Ojibways are Indian tribe that lived in Michigan, northern Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, so I've decided to learn some of their language, and so it's pretty cool. So like a deer and Ojibwe is Wawakashi, or a mouse is Wawabikanoji. So we have mice in our house, and we capture these mice. We don't call them mice, we call them Bikanoji. And our amigo is a migasi. And a horse is a bebe gigante. So, and if I learn some of these words, I know I'm going to be able to understand their culture better, which I'm really interested in. So, but it takes time. It's hard. It's hard to memorize. Especially these words are different words. This language is different than any other language. It's not like French, which has some of the English. You know, someone's a demo, you know, announcement. You know that it's an announcement, right? Okay.
I love that you chose something that's almost completely practically useless.
Is it Ojibwe?
Yeah, well, it's like, it's kind of a dead language, you're just doing.
Oh no, it's not dead. In fact, they're trying to bring it totally
Seriously?
alive.
That's cool.
And that's the whole thing. Is the Ojibways have been put down by the United States government for the last 100 years, and they